That was definitely one of the most inspiring parts about the league, just watching the passion that a lot of these guys had, and all of them had some form of a story of the reason why maybe they didn't go Division I or play at the collegiate level or wherever the case may have been. Some of them, we had a player, his sister passed away a couple of years ago, and it was just really hard for him to focus in the classroom. Yep. And he was a really highly rated recruit. I mean, ESPN, 4-star athlete, but he just couldn't really focus in the classroom. Yeah. But there was a lot of players like that, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Last Chance U.
Absolutely,
Mississippi. Yeah,
I know exactly where that is.
They don't know about that. It's not down this way.
It was almost a lot of like the Last Chance U type guys that we were getting on the basketball.
Some of those guys can play too.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of them can play, right?
That's the whole thing. And a lot of people, they were like, oh, well, what's the quality of talent in the league? I'm like, well, if you watch the games, you'll see that we actually have some really good basketball players. Some who could have gone D1, had D1 offers. They didn't either pass or didn't score well enough at ACT. Their grades were just terrible, whatever the case may have been. And the school thing they just couldn't.
It just wasn't there.
Just couldn't do the school thing. So they saw the JBA League and they saw it as a second opportunity for them to better their pro prospects. And it was like a breath of fresh air for a lot of them. And they just felt a sense of calm that they can come to this league and be able to play the game they love.
Exactly.
My question is it you can go to school and then if you don't get drafted, you can go to the JBA League? Or is it if you're in the JBA League and you don't get drafted, you can go back to school?
Well, it's either. I mean, you can always go back to school. I mean, I'm in my 30s. If I want to go back and get a PhD, have a master's, I can go back to school any time. So it's the same thing with the players. They can always go back to school. Whether they can play collegiately, that's the difference. But there are the leagues like the JBA League, then you have the G League. You can go overseas, but this is just something that's new of its kind. Having right here in the United States, we just never really had one for individuals 17 to 21.